Everybody, my name is Gabriel Thompson. This is my first time in Iowa City, so I really appreciate you guys having me out. Um, I run a engineering firm down here in Pensacola, Florida, called Bad Wolf Engineering, and what we do is we help entrepreneurs with ideas, create companies, and make their technology into reality. And one of those companies is called Drainbot, and I'm very excited to kind of discuss what it does and where we are in the process, and get some feedback from your community to help us grow. Some little buzz animation there, pretty awesome stuff. Moving right along. One of the problems that came to us as Battle Engineering was the issue with flood damage due to HVAC units. A typical HVAC unit will create condensation naturally as it changes temperature, and it'll drain that condensation out of the home. And what happens down here, where it's very warm, humid, a lot of mold, the air will meet that water coming out and create mold inside that line, and the water will have no other place to go but back up into the home, creating flood. Um, this isn't such a big deal if you live at home and you're attentive and you see it. But in most cases, these HVAC units are in the closet, out of sight, out of mind, and people don't notice until their walls and even their unit is completely destroyed by the flood that's happening in their home. And it's even worse for rental agencies and apartment complexes who might not even be there for a week or two. So that is the problem that we're looking to solve. The flood damage, the cost of the malfunctioning AC units, which occurs quite often, and the mold and mildew backup, and the expense that goes into it. So the individual that came to us is Craig Brown. He's a veteran in the property management realty area, and he sees this every single day where he either can't sell a home because it has flood damage due to the HVAC unit, or he has rental properties that are constantly overflowing. And he said the current situation, the current fixes are not enough to warrant the amount of money they're putting into. The insurance companies are tired of paying out premiums to cover all these costs. It's become quite a problem. And he came to us and said, look, if we can find a way to go ahead and fix this problem, it would be life-saving for a lot of people because it costs way too much money to go ahead and fix. As you can see, he went and drained his current HVAC unit and put it in a bottle and showed us what was actually in there. And you can see it on the right-hand side there. That's just both of those. That's not the same picture. That's two different containers full of stuff that's built up just in a little HVAC line, which clearly demonstrates the problem that we're trying to solve. So what's going on right now? What is happening right now where people are trying to use these solutions to fix the problem? Property management companies send teams out to flush HVAC units saying, okay, once a month, go out there and try to do this. It's effective, but only for a short time. We found that once a month bleach treatments only solve the problem for about a week and don't even guarantee that a backup won't occur. And a lot of times they'll say, well, it's the tenant's responsibility. So ask the tenant to do it. But that often doesn't happen either because the tenants are like, well, it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm not really going to think about it. Smart detection of the backup. So if you guys look at your HVAC units, you'll see a little device on your line. It's a flow sensor. And when the water hits it, it pops and turns off the AC unit. And what happens is that flow sensor will go on and off, on and off, and it'll actually short out the AC unit over time because the water line will go down if it sits long enough. Then it'll come back up, go down, it'll come back up, and the AC unit will actually malfunction if it does that too much, which then is expensive because you have to replace the entire HVAC unit. Professional services. I just had a buddy of mine he called me up and goes, I need one of these units because I just paid $250 to have HVAC guy come out with a vacuum cleaner and suck out the crap out of my line. And I was like, $250 because yeah, it's the second time this year I've had to do that. So it's very expensive. And then the insurance companies, a lot of people just say, well, when it happens, I'll have the insurance company go ahead and do it. And like I said, the insurance companies are very interested in this product because they're tired of paying large amounts of flood damage for this issue. So what did we do? We created a little prototype device, and we've been working on it for about a year now, and it's right into its final versions of revision before sending it to manufacturers. It sits inside your HVAC unit, or inside the HVAC closet, right next to the HVAC unit, and it injects our cleaning solution into the drain line every single day to continuously kill the mold that's growing. That way, it's the same concept of putting bleach down your drain line, but it's a eco-friendly, all-grain mold-killing solution that kills it every single day versus once a month for 1 week, if that makes sense. You can monitor these fluid levels in real time. It's very easy to install. We have our first alpha units going out, and the first thing that we got back from all of our testers, they said it was so easy to install, so easy to understand. We're grateful that it wasn't harder and more complicated like we anticipated. It also alerts the owner via text and email of flooding and or if the batteries are low or the fluid is low, which is super helpful. And it be controlled remote as well. This is our online portal. So imagine yourself as a HVAC specialist, HVAC maintainer, and you maintain, let's say 500 units for multiple apartment complexes. You want to be able to put these in each one and know when a customer needs service, when the bottles need to be replaced, and how everything's going on in the system without actually bothering the tenant or the person living in the home. So this portal allows them to do that. So they'll be notified and it's scheduled whenever they need to have a bottle replacement, which if you notice on the very top there, we have a bottle that sits right inside the unit. You hang the unit, the bottle sits right inside, and that's where the solution sits. So throughout the time, the fluid level will go down as it gets injected into the line. So this portal is finishing up development. It should be finished here by the end of next month, and it's very exciting because we're putting a lot of cool work and a lot of cool little techie side notes into this website. All right, so who's our target customers? We're looking at targeting the AC industry and the rental agencies. So we found the Southeast United States is where this problem most occurs. So in Iowa City, you may not have this issue as much because you have to change seasons, the cold and whatnot. Here, where it's hot all the time, we have this issue more prevalently. Rental agencies who see this every single day, they have to call an HVAC person to come out or fix a line, or they have complaints about it or whatnot. Property management firms, the same thing. Homeowners, a little bit more tricky, and we can touch base on that a little bit. Our original thought process was that we'd sell to homeowners, but turns out that homeowners will actually purchase the unit if they have the problem within 24 hours. So if you have a problem, then when they have that problem, they'll purchase the unit. But if you wait more than 24 hours, they'll deal with it next time. It's a very out of sight, out of mind situation that we're dealing with. And then insurance companies and brokers want the data that we're collecting to know how to adjust their insurance premiums for the specific type of flood damage, which we can talk about in a little bit. So here's everybody who benefits. And I'm not going to go into great detail about this whole thing, and I'd be happy to send it to you, but there's a lot going on with this unit, more than just the HVAC being cleaned. Like I talked about, the insurance companies are very on board because they want more detailed metrics on what floods are occurring where and on what units. So that's phenomenal. HVAC resellers are interested because they want to go ahead and have a subscription-based model to their customers to have more interaction and better customer success. And then property owners and apartments and condos and tenants and all of them, they want this problem solved because they don't want to go away for 1 week and find that their home is flooded because their HVAC system decided to have a backup. So how are we getting them out there? Currently, we are going through the resale route and the direct sales route. We have connections in the big box stores, but we are mainly gearing toward these distributors. HVAC companies say they don't really want to store the devices on hand. They want to be able to go to an HVAC distributor, not necessarily Lowe's or Home Depot, and get these parts whenever a customer requests them. So these HVAC distributors are very on board because they already have a customer who wants the product, and we're trying to get it to them. So we're trying to make that connection at the moment. And we have all kinds of other side cool things. And we've had colleges call us and say, look, we teach HVAC services in our curriculum. Can we go ahead and get your product in the line so we can get certifications? We have associations calling us, HVAC associations, saying, how do we write code around this so that this can be more sellable and marketable in the market? So a lot of really cool things are happening there as well. And we're currently in sales negotiations with Watsco as a massive distributor. So development costs, this is always one of the main questions. How much does it cost and how much are you selling it for? It costs us about $24 to make a unit, and we're selling it for around $100. That price isn't finalized yet. That's where we found the customers are pretty happy. One of the number one questions we got is, why is the device so cheap? So there's variability in that pricing range. The bottle is $9 a year for us to make and $36 a year for a customer to have. And insurance companies are already saying that they're willing to cover the cost of the bottle as long as they can verify that it's being used appropriately, which is provided by the data that we provide. And then the online portal is cheap to nothing. We use a cloud management service called Azure, and it's phenomenal. If you guys ever use it, I love Azure. Marketing projections. We've narrowed down our target market, and we want to take 0.075% of the market in our first year. And that means selling about 11,000 devices. And that will get us right into the field where we want to be in order to grow. That'll pay for all of our manufacturing costs, our tooling, our certifications, our partnerships, and all that kind of fun stuff. And from there, we look to double, if not just under double from there, based on the market percentages you see there at the bottom. Now, what's cool about this is that this is a percentage of a percentage. This isn't all homes. This isn't all HVAC contracts. This is a very select target market. And of that entire target market, we want below 1% to start off. It's very doable. And the coaching that we've gotten from VCs, venture capitalists, they're very excited because such a small margin means, and with such a large capital, means that there's a lot of chance for success for VCs. And it actually breaks down Southeast United States, central homes, and then current maintenance contracts. So that's the target market that we're going for there on the left. Finally, let's go back. There we go. Finally, we created an awesome team of board of advisors who are going to see this to success and completion. We have engineering teams, marketing teams, IT security teams. Craig Brown is our co-owner, but he's also experienced in the rental property area, so he's got a lot of say there. We have an insurance head that talks to hundreds of insurance companies in his current job, so he's always there for us. And then we have a consultant in corporate advising, which is Marcia. All these people have been working for the past year to create an awesome product and awesome experience for our customers, and it's been phenomenal so far. So what are we doing next? Where are we now, and what are we doing next? We are completing the alpha testing. So we have 10 devices currently in actual customers' hands, and they're giving us feedback every week or so. We're finalizing the manufacturing plan. Once we get the last device fitted and ready to go, we're going to send that to manufacturers, and they're going to go ahead and printing the first 10,000 units. We're partnering with HVAC and our distribution, which is the Watsco partnership we talked about. We're placing 10,000 devices on order, which is huge because that puts us actually in about year 3 if we can sell them immediately. We're establishing the code standards through our HVAC associations, and we're continuing to invest in the local community and doing all this as well, which is huge. Pensacola is growing. Again, my name is Gabriel Thompson. This is my information. I'd love to hear all about what your guys' thoughts are, where we can improve. If you can see, I've had multiple people come from this community come to me and say, have you thought about doing this with your product instead, or adding this as a side market? And I find that amazing. I think it was in Nebraska. No, Georgia. There's another one. They said, have you considered using your solution in cow, in milk producing situations where they clean the lines? And I was like, no, I never would have thought of that, but we're going to start looking at that. And we actually flew up to Georgia and Toronto to have a conversation with some farmers. It was interesting. It was a good time. But I love hearing that kind of stuff. So this is my information, and I'd love to hear from all you guys.
Very cool. Any questions?
I don't really have a question, but good job on your presentation. I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and this feels like a very Shark Tank-esque product, so you should try for that. For myself, I think definitely going for the, property manager seems like a good choice. Like as a homeowner, this is not something I would ever buy. Not that it's a problem we face here, but I just wouldn't think about it. I don't even replace my filters, my furnace filters as often as I should. So I think that's a good choice. Once again, I don't really relate to this issue, so I don't know, but do you have any information on how many people actually have experienced this problem before? How big is the problem? Sorry if I missed part of the presentation too.
Not at all. So we've done evaluations. We've talked to hundreds of customers within the northern Florida and southern United States. And we find this problem is common with almost everyone we talk to at some variation of level. The apartment complexes that we go to, they say that, yeah, we've had issues with that, but this is what we do, and this is how it's helped us. And the more we talk about it, the more they're like, okay, that's more proactive approach to solving a problem versus a reactive approach that we're doing now. For instance, a lot of these people, since there's not really a good cheap service out there, they create these interesting machines that'll do it, like these vacuum cleaners, these custom-made vacuum cleaners. They'll do it themselves, but they're one-off, they're finicky, they solve the problem temporarily, but it's reactive, it's never proactive. And insurance-wise, we talked to a lot of insurance companies, and they say, we can't give you any data on it because, especially in the Florida area, flood damage is inclusive to all flood damage, including hurricanes. So when someone reports, I have flood damage, if it's not, they can claim hurricane damage separately, right? But if it's general flood damage, it goes under one code. So we're working with them now to separate that out. And until now, they had no actual way to distinguish what that was related to. Was it actually caused by HVAC units, or was it caused by a running faucet? It was hard to tell. So now we're going to be providing that for them. So we're actually going to be figuring out what that percentage is.
So it sounds like the consumer does realize this is an issue and this is what's causing my issues.
Absolutely. I got a whole triage of videos where on these calls, I get people just like yourself go, oh my gosh, this happened to me yesterday. And I need one of your units now. And a lot of people relate to it because they've experienced it. And statistically, what we're finding is that if it happens once, even in a new AC unit or a new line, because the line is what we're solving, we're not really fixing the AC unit, we're fixing the line that it filters out, right? If you have the problem once and they flush it out, they don't actually kill all the mold that's in that line because it's near impossible to do so with a vacuum cleaner, with one line of bleach or whatever. Instead, it kills enough for the water to come back out, and then it'll happen again. So it's almost like a continual problem. Once it happens once, you're so much more susceptible for it to happen again, and people know that. So these apartment complexes around here who have been around for 60 odd years, they're very sensitive to this issue because it happens every year all the time. Craig Brown came up with this idea because he used to do property rental inspections, and his job partially was to clean these lines out. And he said 6 months out of the year was simply dedicated to cleaning these lines that had issues, which is crazy. That's so much money that these people paid him to go and do that.
So an issue that I have at my house is that tree roots like go into my pipes. Is there anything you could do about that? I don't know if there's even an access point of anything you could inject or how that would work, but that's like my pain point in Iowa. I
appreciate it. Yeah, that is an interesting one. I don't think our solution is strong enough to kill a tree root. And if it is, I don't know if it'd be eco-friendly. But I'll keep that in mind. I like it. I appreciate it.
That's like my equivalent to dairy,
dairy. Yeah, exactly. I've got that same, Liz, I have the same problem right now. I'm having to have a new trench dug for a sump pump drain. And I ask actually the same question. Is there something that, I can inject, maybe just kill the roots that were blocking the drain itself? And the concern was that might kill the entire tree as well. So, but
well, that might be the solution altogether, is to cut down the tree, right?
No, we love our trees here.
Yeah, right. So, but it's a whole different problem. Maybe there's an idea in there somewhere. But Gabriel, really interesting presentation. A couple of thoughts. One is, why don't the HVAC manufacturers just build this device right into the units?
I love it. So they can't, for one. And a part of Bad Wolf Engineering's ultimate plan is to build companies that will sell in under 10 years. That's our kind of our sales pitch.
Sure.
So our exit strategy for this company is to sell it to 3 companies that we've already selected who build the HVAC units, and then they will again take our patent, and they'll say, cool, now we own this sector with all these customers.
Yeah.
And then they'll go ahead and install it in their new HVAC system, saying, cool, we're going to send you 1 year free bottles if you buy this newer HVAC unit. And then they have a subscription base that they currently don't really have with their customer. So we haven't talked to the 3, mainly Train and Carrier and those types of companies.
Sure.
But I do foresee within 10 years, you'll start seeing these HVAC units at Lowe's and Home Depot with one of these integrated in some form or fashion into the unit.
Okay, good. Yeah, another question. And I may have missed this in the presentation, but are you thinking about using the like the other gentleman you mentioned, the service professionals, the people that are going out and doing the work, and having them, act as your sales channel?
Absolutely. So the issue that we're finding there, which we're getting around now, is that these individuals are sold things every day, right? They're very targeted for sales pitches. So instead, we're taking a little bit of a different approach, and we're going to the distributor, and we're kind of easing our way into that direction. However, the HVAC professionals that are on board who are helping us test right now are very excited about it, because many times they're given a budget. their HVAC or their property management contract says if it's under $100, go ahead and just buy it, and then we'll pay it back. So these HVAC companies are like, cool, that sounds great. We're going to go install all of these in all your units, and really not even ask you about it because it's per unit, right? And then they're gonna get this revenue stream from these people at $36 a year for 500 units. So instead of having that one HVAC call where they say we have to go clean it out, which I talked to them, a lot of them say they don't even want to do that. They would rather have a installation rather than repair. Instead of having that type of sales process, we don't really know when the money's coming in. Now they have a steady source of income, which is phenomenal for them. But yeah, absolutely, they're going to be pivotal in our distribution plan for sure.
Great. Good luck.
Appreciate you.
I thought you did a great job as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there somebody else wanted to speak?
No, go ahead, Erin. Now I'll
Right.
take it
Sorry.
out.
I'm curious about your manufacturing. Will it be done here in the U.S.? Where in the U.S.? Will you be in Pensacola?
Sure. So we have our bottle manufacturer out in Orlando. We have a great relationship with those guys, and they're just waiting to go ahead and pump out our bottles. And then we really want to print the device in the U.S. and we have a plan for it. We hired a company called Xometry to outsource what we have currently to a Chinese producer for the first 2 years, and after that, we're going to bring it back. The problem with American manufacturing currently, I'm going to say currently, as of 2 months ago when we started doing the research, right? It was $100,000+ to manufacture just the tooling, right? Not including the products. In China, it was 32. And as a small business, $100,000 is our entire budget for the entire project. But we don't have the revenue to do that. So by partnering with an American company who hires these people outside to create the mold and then bring the mold back to America so that it can be processed back in America, that's the ultimate plan.
Very good. I know it's a constant struggle. We know all about that.
We're hoping that because there's a lot of political things that are changing, right? Where we're trying to bring things back to America. And there's a lot of what we were seeing was that the manufacturers simply couldn't produce at the same price or even close to the same price due to a lot of restrictions. So if those restrictions are lifted within the next presidency, no matter who gets in or however it ends up being, and they can bring it down to even 50,000, I would love to bring it back to America. I'm all about American manufacturing.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. We recently had a local solar company that was trying to manufacture solar panels in the state of Iowa. They got it down to a fraction of a penny of where it would cost. They were competitive with, international pricing, and then the pandemic hit, and suddenly China dropped all their prices. So
wow,
that's
funny how that happens. Huh?
Hard to compete.
But with that said, if you guys have any place that you know of that you've experienced, I'm still very open to hearing and talking to these manufacturers who would be willing to, meet us in the middle there somewhere.
I have a question, Gabriel.
Sure.
I don't know if I missed it in the presentation, but isn't mold also important for health issues for the people that are, in the buildings or in the houses or not?
Yes, and more or less within the tube itself. I think if the mold grew into the HVAC unit in the drain pan directly where the water falls, that would be an issue because the air comes up and sucks those mold spores into the open house. So that is absolutely a health issue, and that should never happen.
Okay.
It does, but it should never happen. Good.
Because in the presentation, I mean, you highlighted a lot, the cost concerning, the maintenance of the issue, but nothing relative to the health issues.
Okay.
So I was wondering why, and it's something that I think people are really interested also as single homeowners.
That's an excellent point. I'm gonna look into that, and if I can pull some numbers, even rough numbers, to figure out what the health adverse effects are to this, that might be a game changer. I like that. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I would also consider looking at any city and state along a river, because we've got substantial flooding that happens in Iowa. When I was in Kansas, where it's not quite as cold as Iowa, but it's also humid and hotter for a longer period of time, we had mold issues constantly. And I can't speak, I've never lived in a house long enough to, because we move all the time, never lived in a house long enough to have an issue like this. So, but I was in Texas for 16 years. Again, never we didn't have an issue, but I know these things exist and mold is a huge problem.
That's a good point. In water-prone environments is kind of where we're heading. And Craig Brown right now is looking into international statistics as well to figure out where, other than the United States, we have this issue, because we're not the only humid place in the world, right? There's a lot more humidity out there. And you're right. Anywhere close to water, anywhere rivers, the ocean, whatever, you'd be prone to more mold and humidity. So I do like that.
Hey, Gabriel, this is Eric again. As you pointed out, we don't have the same problem here, but I'll tell you what problem. A lot of, and I'm outside Chicago, by the way.
Okay.
So same climate generally as Iowa. We have lime scale, so we're actually on well and well water. So we supply our own water, and it's very hard water, and it's that water that's actually fed to like our humidifier in our HVAC unit. And so, as you were thinking about it, and I was thinking, this doesn't really apply, but what other problems do I have with my HVAC unit? And that's one. Now, I don't have to do it every month. It doesn't happen. That definitely takes more time, but it is something that I have on my, regular maintenance schedule once or twice a year to go and look and just make sure that drain is clear, because it literally builds up lime scale to the point, not that it would clog it completely and cause a problem, but you could definitely sell somebody on the idea that, it could theoretically clog so badly that you would cause a major problem. So,
yeah.
If you just tweak your bottle so it descales it, that would be interesting.
Any ideas what kind of chemical we could put in? Because in the Drainbot model, we're actually partnering with other mold killing solution companies, and we're giving the customer the ability to purchase whatever solution they want. So if they'd rather have a bleach solution, we can provide that to them. If they want to have a Clorox or a method product that they trust, they can do that. Now, if we had a lime scale killing solution for the northern states, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not a chemist. Chemistry was not my strong suit in college, so and even that was a long time ago. So I don't know, but I'm sure there are very smart people who could tell you. It's not me.
I got a team of chemists here who came up with ours. I'll ask them about it. I'm very curious what their response will be. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, like with the cows. Like, never would have thought of that, but this is good. Yeah. I like that. Sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Eric, what do you use to clean your drain right now? Do you use like CLR? Because I know.
Yeah, I use CLR, but I try to recapture, a lot of it because it does seem to last. But I don't know, Gabriel, you may not even know this product. It might be one of those things that's regional, but CLR, calcium lime rust removal. Just get it. They sell it. It's like candy at the Home Depots and stuff.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
Buy a bottle of that on your way out. So yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, I'm on a well as you are, and I've got my stockpile of CLR in the closet.
I've got like a whole water plant in my basement to treat the water and everything.
Yep.
So let me ask you guys a question then. Right now we are in talks with Watsco, and 3M is also in early discussions for a sales model where they're going to go ahead and sell the units for us. And one of our 3M guys is actually supposed to come on board. I don't know if he ever made it this morning, but either way, he'll see it on Facebook. I'm very curious to see if you guys have had any experience talking and getting a product in front of distributors and saying, hey, I want to put this on your shelf. What was the process you had to go through to do that? Who would you have to talk to? And how many people did you have to talk to until you finally got to the person who had the authority to do so?
Great question.
Yeah, if nobody's had that experience, that's fine.
No, I don't know that anybody in this crew has.
Hey, can I contribute something?
Yeah.
Or after you, Aaron?
No, I was going to say if Katie had any insight as to any of the companies she's worked with. I don't know if she's on and listening. But Ricardo, go ahead. Well, there you are.
Hi. I honestly, when it gets to that point, I have never truly been that involved, but I know many people that I can connect you with that can help you with that.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. I can put my information in the chat and feel free to hit me up whenever you're.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll email you after this.
Let's see. Ricardo, do you have something?
Yeah, so I'm a realtor, so I work with homeowners and home inspectors and HVAC technicians. My recommendation for that would be to check out trade shows, which I'm sure is already on your list once the world goes back to normal. And I know the Home Builders Association has a big national show in Vegas, I believe. So that would be a good organization to look into, the HPA, National HPA, which Iowa City was awarded like best HPA last year. So
what?
Yeah.
Little tag there. I like it. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely. We're enlisted for a few different trade shows. We haven't actually been to one yet due to COVID, but we do get that a lot, saying, "Why don't you have more trade shows?" So we're putting up like the cool banners Liz has behind her. We're doing all that kind of cool stuff and getting a table together. And then one of our partnering HVAC associations require us to do it twice a year. And we're part of the group, and they pay for it all and stuff like that. And they had one in Orlando coming up. I want to say it's in March. I'm very excited to see how that's all going to go. But
yeah, you could also reach out to home inspectors in the areas where this is a big problem, because they talk to home buyers who will have to deal with this, and they may not necessarily be able to sell it for you then, but they'll get your product out there and recommend it.
What's the best way to get in touch with inspectors?
You can contact your association of realtors, and they usually have affiliate members that they can share their information with you. Or just Google home inspectors in this area and you'll get a long list, and just call them, email them. You can also contact realtors, I suppose, and then get recommendations from them.
Gotcha. Yeah, Craig, like I said, he's a realtor right now. He's been in it for a while, and he, it's a very small business where everybody kind of knows each other. And so he definitely goes down that road. I have issue with selling directly to inspectors because I feel like they're also targeted quite often. Do you feel the same, or do you feel like they're not as hit?
I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
As a realtor, have you ever has anybody tried to sell you a product to recommend?
No, not really. They try to sell me like systems and like business solutions, but not really things to sell to homeowners. Really, no.
Interesting. Okay, I like it.
And if they did, it's not like I would. And I mean, it's kind of illegal for me to take a kickback if they were offering. Not really illegal, it just has to be disclosed, and that varies by state, of course. So yeah, no, I don't get like products pitched like that, really.
Cool. A little more open to it. Like I said, the distributors, they get it every day. So they're kind of like, oh, it's just another one. I don't really want to worry about that. But getting in the door is a little more difficult.
So the distributors, they oftentimes, like the mom and pop, the smaller distributors that are, I'll use my brother-in-law, for example. So he's got a small distribution. He's plumbing supplies in Northwest Iowa, and he is part of a large buying group. So they get together and they've got a board, and then they look at products like this, where they can, if they've got a group of smaller mom and pop shops that come together and buy, they could do that. So getting in front of those buying groups, I know they do a lot of trade shows as well. My husband's in credit card processing, so he hits those up, and it's part of the reason why I know about the buying groups as well. So trying to figure out who's all in there and getting access to that information.
Buying groups, interesting. Would you say in a corporate level, those people have job titles within that category of buying group? Is that pretty normal?
Restate that question, please. I'm sorry.
So somebody who holds the job in the buying group, right, the director of buying group, or however that works out, if they work at a corporate level, such as carrier, do they have a job title kind of labeled buyer or buyer group?
I don't know. I would be happy to look into that and let you know.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm big on LinkedIn as well, so I'm trying to I hit up people all the time, but finding out who has the power to make what decision. This is the first time I'm hearing about a buying group, which actually makes a lot of sense because multiple industries have buyers, right? But they specifically identify products that would be successful.
And I would imagine that with, let me reach out and then ask kind of how the structure of the board works for the one particular buying group that I'm thinking of. My husband's got access to several, but it's I'll just kind of see what the structure is and what the title is that you should look for on LinkedIn. I'm happy to look into that.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Gabriel, another question here. Is cleaning or checking that line part of the standard curriculum for a tech in the industry?
You mean within the university trade school system?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they do have different curriculums, obviously, per university. The Northwest Florida University, the one we're partnering with, Northwest Florida College, they have a huge tech supporting program specific to HVAC supplies and maintenance. They do check for it. They have different recommendations of what to do. And that's why when they came out and they said, well, based on what we're doing now and what you're offering, we'd much rather have a proactive approach versus a reactive approach, right? So they've actually reached out and said, can you build a curriculum, one, to teach, and then a curriculum to certify HVAC companies to be installers, and then we can sell that as well. What are your thoughts there, Eric? What you got?
I mean, any kind of connection you can get with an industry group like that are training, or find a connection to associations or professional groups, continuing education, just to bring the problem to the attention of those techs, and then also provide a solution is always helpful. So any kind of connection to the industry, professional organizations. So of course they have presumably hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of members that they can communicate with, and it's a great way to leverage connections into those groups.
Absolutely. And one of the interesting things we had a couple conversations with the university, and they recommended certain tools to be used, like in their books. They said use this tool for this problem. So we got curious, and we went out to all the people that we knew and said, hey, what do you use to solve this problem? And almost all of them named that tool. And we asked them why, and they said, well, we learned about it in school 15, 20 years ago, and they've just been using it ever since. I'm like, so you read it in a book once, and all of a sudden that's a lifetime product that you're just going to use because you knew. So that's why they recommended go through us first, get your device's picture in our book, and we'll show them how to use it, and that'll be a standard. It'll become a standard.
Yeah, if it works, it will absolutely. That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Eric.
Any other questions? Not hearing any. I will go ahead and ask our traditional final question that I'm sure you've heard at other 1MC chapters throughout the country. What can we as the community do to help you?
Absolutely. So I do have a little slide for this, but I'll just read it off for you. The connection to distributors was one of my biggest challenges at the moment. We need to sell a minimum of 5,000 units to make it into stage 2 for first year, second stage of selling. So let's say we got feedback from the device. We talked about the distributors. We're looking for advice on third-party validation. Right now, we have a group out of Germany. Are you guys familiar with method cleaning products? Mm-hmm. They're pretty popular. They're getting more popular now. Cradle and Cradle is the company that certifies those products that they actually do what they do, right? They say that, yes, we stamp approval, this is good stuff. They've agreed to take our solution on as a green-based solution that also kills molds with a cleaning product. And they're going to sign it off for $12,000. Now, if you guys have ideas or thoughts about how to do that, where to do that, something you've seen in the past, other recommendations for a solution, I'd love to hear it, because those are some of the things that we've kind of settled on and moved on with. But I find that people have some really cool insights on these different products and what they'd like to see.
Very nice. And you've got your contact info in the chat, so folks can get in touch with you. Looks like it's Gabriel at drainbotcorp.com. So excellent. Thank you so much for your presentation. I learned a lot. I didn't even know this was an issue in the Southeast. I mean, I've been down to Florida enough. I understand how humid it is, so I can see how this would be a big problem down there. So thank you so much.